There we go.
Right. Hello and welcome to our second podcast for the Above Average Adventures. As you can see, we're all very excited to get playing, apart from Ben, who's just feeling his right breast or left breast and licking the camera.
How is it?
So, is it good? Yeah.
Tender.
Is it good?
Very warm.
Mm.
We started recording. As a result, we probably just want to get playing as quickly as we can. So, very, very quick recap. Then there will be no map cam tonight because my internet connection is unstable. So we'll just try and do it as best we can. So recap. Last week, having fallen 4,000 feet from the sky in a horrific air crash caused by all sorts of supernatural forces, you found yourself stranded at sea. Managed to cobble together, or the NPC that was with you at the time, Osfrith, managed to cobble together some kind of raft device with which you were able to kind of spend the evening, and you had your first long rest. However, other than Shikshi, none of you consumed any food or drink, so you will soon be looking at points of exhaustion. Naughty, naughty bears. You took a long rest, your first long rest of the campaign, actually, and were able to heal, but upon waking, the dwarf monk Osfrith was missing. After shenanigans and discussions and all sorts of things of that nature, you discovered that you were being set upon by a giant shark, a hunter shark, a reef shark, and a great white. And it later turned out, what are you doing? So my wife has just reached across to get a pen without being seen. You were set upon by sharks, and it turned out that on the sharks were goblin raiders. You quickly, or Sheepsheen quickly shot them off and dispatched all but one, who fell victim to Pluck's suggestion spell telling him to flee, in which he ran away. The battle resumed, though, with the sharks, and particularly one shark that just would not go down, despite Handbag's brave attempts to turn into an octopus and do battle with the apex predator below the raft. It didn't go too well, and you were set upon by, in the distance, a huge, monstrous whale, which ended up swallowing all of you and the shark. The battle continued, and Shikshi, by tapping into the dark forces that work within him, was able to put the shark down. However, both Brian and Handbag did go unconscious. We will resume the session pretty much from there, in the mouth of the whale, which is closed behind, currently sat on its tongue. Brain and Handbag, he's now called Brain, by the way, not Brian. Brain and Handbag are currently unconscious, not making death saving throws. They are stable, but at 0 hit points unconscious. And we will begin the session with, as I ended it last week, the old Napoleonic captain's hat of Captain Blight, your original captain, just washes at the feet of Pluck and hits against your boots.
I'm just gonna rush past it and get to Handbag as quickly as possible, and then cast a Cure Wounds spell at level 1. So, I'll save you, Bag! And he gets, 10 points of health. Yay.
Okay, so as you quickly place your hands on all of the damage, it's hard to know where it is coming from. There's just blood everywhere oozing from the lizard before you. Healing energy transfers from your body into his, and he suddenly comes round with 10 hit points.
Oh. Are you okay, Bag?
I'm just gonna cough up some water. Oh, what did I miss?
Would you like a glass of water?
I'm going to notice Brian is also unconscious, and then I'm going to go to Brian and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on him. I've only got a level 2 slot available, so that's 2d8, isn't it?
Yes, burn your spell slots.
I've got one left after this. Brian, you get 21.
What? Sorry, how
How
many?
much?
21.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you.
Because it's got me plus on it as well.
So you run with a start, like a, and just sort of ready to go, almost like being hit with a shot of adrenaline. Oh, still probably in the fight, axe swinging.
Whoa, big guy! It's all good. It's all good. We're okay. We're okay.
What's going on? What's
Well,
going on?
Where are we?
well, the fight. We have defeated the foes. We have vanquished the enemies in front of us. A lot has happened. Where are we? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. From what I can take, we might be in the belly of some enormous sea creature.
Can we see the whale's like teeth, the baleen of its mouth?
The baleen of its mouth. Goodness
Yes.
me, that's
Liam.
a good word. Goodness me. So as you look around, what you can see is the bristles and hairs that would make up the inside of a whale's mouth, just sort of surrounding you with a huge jaw. This whole area is like, standing from the middle of it, is like maybe 30, 40, 50 feet. It is really cavernously big and huge. The water drips from the roof of the hard pallet. Would be the hard pallet, wouldn't it be on the top? I mean, I know that's something that I should probably know with my job role, but as the water drips down from you, and underneath is the surface itself is quite squishy. You're on a giant tongue, and obviously at your feet is the hat of Captain Blood.
Is there still water, like, on the floor, or is it all drained out?
Yeah, so it's a good question. It's puddly. If my son was around, he'd be jumping right through those puddles and playing splashy puddles. So it is puddly. It is wet. It's not risen at this point.
I'm going to walk over to Blythe's hat and give it just a kick in a very childish but angry way.
Okay. And is that with force?
More with like sort of. Oh yeah, go on with force. I'm angry with full force.
Okay. Can you attack just because I'm curious as to what the die are going to tell us in terms of your emotion towards this hat?
What was that? Sorry, check my dice or.
Can you roll a d20 for us?
Yeah.
Or make an attack roll?
Whilst you're rolling.
18. Oh, go on.
So just whilst you're rolling, I just
so
want to double check the sound for me around here, because I realise I'm in central London. I can hear a lot going outside my window. Is it all right for you guys?
Yeah, we're good.
Just how much I need to moderate
yeah,
music.
you're
I've
okay.
got fireworks going on as well, if anyone can hear that, I don't know.
No, we're all good.
Wish
Can
I
hear
could.
everything
So,
fine.
Pluck
18.
looking down, Pluck seeing the devastation around you, and the other thing that's still here is the body of a lifeless shark, which is stuck with bullet holes and spears from the brain from Brian, as well as just sucker marks from where it's done battle with an octopus. You take a sort of really angsty sort of Kevin Bacon footloose swing at the hat and give it a kick as best as you can. It is just made of cloth though, so as it impacts with your foot, it just sort of moves about pathetically.
Ah!
Could I go over to the corpse of the shark?
Yeah.
And I want to try and start butchering it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. You can by all means just start. I mean, for what purpose are you butchering it? Do you mean to obtain meat?
Yeah, for food, and also
Right.
try and get some teeth from it.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. You can. Let's make a survival check, I suppose.
Can I assist with that?
Yeah, make a survival check with advantage.
That's
I'd like to say, gentlemen,
14.
if you don't mind, whilst you're carving from this majestic creature, if you wouldn't mind, perhaps getting me the rib cage and perhaps the this might sound rare or macabre, but the spinal column, that would be very beneficial to some sort of plans that I have.
What's that?
Handbag is good at that.
Spinal
Handbag.
column, that's the bit that runs down your back, the bit that keeps you together.
Why don't you just play back?
Let can hand back bones.
Look very like childishly walks over to the shark. Sharks don't have spinal columns; they just have a large piece of cartilage. That's all. I'm
Just as good. Just
very moody.
For a cat, you know too much about fish.
I know everything about fish.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So as you begin carving or kind of cutting into the shark, what are you using? Are you using your dagger?
For like more heavy bit, like for bits that look more tough, I'd use my great sword and try and dig it in, and then try and finish the job with my dagger.
Yeah, well, it will take you some time, and I would say that over the course of the next 30 minutes or so, I've got to be really careful here because there is other stuff going on that we've not had a chance to describe yet. So we're going to have to almost imagine that, if you were to continue carving into the shark, you don't really know what you're doing because shark anatomy is not something that you've kind of, worked at before. So you are just sort of chunking bits of meat off and sort of whacking out teeth, and there's quite a lot, but they are kind of really embedded in the jawline. While this is going on, anyone got a passive perception of like 14 or higher? 14. Okay, we have got
I have
14,
14.
not a 17.
12.
Cool. So anyone with no, I think you would all hear it, to be honest. You hear this sound emanating from outside of the whale. But at the same time, it's, you hear it outside, but it is coming from within, up the vocal cords of the whale and resonating out.
I think he feels, yes, he feels bad about what he's done, and I think he would like to make reparations quite soon. And also, just in that half an hour where they've been doing that, I'd like to, if just a rep play, could I mage hand the hat of Captain Blight towards me and ritual cast detect magic on it as well, or identify on it actually, because I can ritual cast identify, just to see if it's any magical properties, which will cost 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a +2 to armor class.
I'm gonna pop that right up here.
And anyone with jumping around in the timeline slightly here, but anyone with a perception of 14 or a passive perception of 14 without making an actual check, the song of the whale is sorrowful and sad, if such a could be so.
Can I climb to the top of the shark and survey the area? Yeah,
sure. You're inside a giant whale's mouth. It's about 30 or 40 feet, and you're surrounded by a really large arc of bristles. The surface that you were stood on is quite spongy, a bit like a tongue, and there are puddles. Nothing's changed. The area behind you, though, is sort of blocked off at this moment in time.
Blocked off?
Yeah, by muscle and sinew and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I check if there's you said there's spears and stuff in the shark? Can I check if there's a short sword in the shark or a rapier or something like that? You said there's spears in it. You said there's spears. I don't have my weapon anymore.
Is there exactly the piece of gear that I am looking for on this shark that's been swallowed by a whale in the middle of the ocean?
You never know.
You never know. You do never know.
You will need to make an investigation check for that, first of all, but I need to know how you're investigating. There are two ways that you can find this out. You can essentially wait for Brian to hopefully hack the whale in half, or you could climb through the jaws and go inside the shark.
I was planning on just seeing the things that was on its back, and because I'm on top of it, and I just plan on walking around it and seeing what I can pull out of it and use as a weapon, and because I just rolled a 2, I'm not going to enter the shark's gob. Okay, I'll enter the shark's gob. There's got to be a sword in here somewhere.
So you go round. This is not how I thought this was going to go at all. So you go round to the shark. Its dead, cold eyes just sort of looking directly into your soul. You push the jaw. It's kind of rigor mortis is beginning. Rigor mortis, not Rick and Mortis. I'm doing it now. I'm saying Rick and Morty. So rigor mortis is kind of beginning to set in. The teeth themselves are like layers upon layers. It's like maybe 4 or 5 layers of teeth, and it takes. You have to sort of heave yourself in and over as you push through the gut and down the jaw and down the neck and into the gut and root around. No, there are no weapons in here. There is a bit of leg. There's a hand. There's some fish that have been kind of heavily kind of chewed up, but it's a grim sight.
I shout out from inside the shark. There's no weapons in here.
Could I close the mouth of the shark when his feet go past the teeth mark?
Do your feet go past the teeth mark, Pluck?
No, they don't.
No. Okay, right. So you shout out, "There's no weapons in here," from inside the shark.
And then I retract myself from said shark because I'm not staying there.
Can I go and collect some teeth, please, from the shark?
Sure. Yeah. Make a survival check.
I'm going to head over to the mussel.
That's what she said.
You can have two shark teeth that are perfectly intact.
How many do I have?
How large?
You also have 2.
How much meat do I collect?
They are large enough that they would be a shark tooth.
It's a giant. So are they like
Great white?
Okay, so they're still. That's fine.
How much meat do I collect from the shark?
How much meat do you collect? Look, You're inside a whale, right? You're in its mouth. It's a majestic creature of the sea, singing to you in pain, and you want to carve up a shark. You bunch of twats.
Brian, that was not my intention. Brian, it's just that perhaps there's a way to communicate with this whale, and kind of the song that it's singing right now. It almost sounds like you when you sleep, because you make a very similar sound. Lots of. I wasn't done.
Carry on. I didn't realise I did that.
So perhaps there's a way for you to communicate with it as you speak the lingo. Otherwise, hand bag. Perhaps you could polymorph into a creature, mammalian, that might share a language with this creature, and so therefore communicate with it and steer it towards some sort of safe place in case we get spat or shat out in the middle of the ocean, hundreds of miles away from safety.
Mike.
Yes, you're holding a shark fin. Well done. That's how much.
Could I spend 10 minutes and cast Speak with Animals?
Yes, Gareth. Gareth, you can. What's everybody else doing in the 10 minutes? Dancing.
I'm going towards the that mussel you said was blocking the area, and I'm trying to see for any like signs of damage in any way that insinuates there's been something inside of this hurting it. From what she just said.
What was that last sentence?
If anything's damaged it from the inside, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so make an investigation check.
Well, we aren't very good at this. Oh, I got a 19.
A 19, right. So, look, from this side of the esophagus, we'll call it esophagus. Forgive me, anyone listening that knows whale anatomy. I probably should have Googled it. But everyone's an expert on whale anatomy.
I mean, you strange whale people.
So from this side, on this side of the wall of the muscle, you see the damage that would come from, like when you have a bad tooth, and the gum starts to infect around it and spread. You can't see the thing that's causing damage, but there is clearly rot, decay, pain within the very kind of tissue of this whale.
Oh.
Guys, I think this whale's hurt.
I think it is too.
Has 10 minutes gone by?
No, that was literally 30 seconds.
No, I was saying over here, like I can physically see that it's in pain. Does anyone have like anything we can do to help?
I'm going to bubble over to Pluck.
Bubble? Bubble over?
What bubble over?
You...
Bubble.
Oh, I'm in a bubble!
Dead. Pain. Where is it in pain?
I point towards the sort of rotted meat bit where like that sort of infection is.
So
Up there.
first thing, I am going to place.
Oh God, he's got to lick it.
I'm going to place a hand on the rotten flesh, and then spit at it. And as the spit makes contact, that is me casting Cure Wounds upon the animal.
And it's also a marriage contract at the same time.
To see whether that has any positive effects upon the creature.
Okay, so what level are you casting that at?
First level.
Okay, cool.
Just to see
So,
whether it has
roll-
any effect at this point.
Yeah, roll your healing.
That is 7 points of healing.
So you touch at this sort of mound of black and red and pus, and the magic that emanates from your hand in that place does heal it. You see it go to a more fleshy pink color, a more healthy and wholesome color, and then after 30 seconds, it just turns itself back into black and pus and rot.
Okay. So what I will do next, spend another spell. I'm going to place a hand on an undamaged piece of
your spells.
I'm going to place my hand on an undamaged piece of flesh, and reach out with my mind and try to connect with that of the whale. And I'm going to cast. Let me get the exact phrasing up. Bear with me. Apologies.
Bear in mind that you're going to cast what? Sorry.
Animal friendship.
Animal friendship, and just remember that Brian is preparing Speak with Animals.
Yes, I'm not communicating with it. I'm just trying to state that we are there and mean it no harm.
Okay, and you hear back a.
Okay.
Could I ritual cast detect magic as well? Somewhere near the same time Brian started doing his jam.
What's the okay? So we'll say that for the sake of time.
10 minute time.
10 minutes. What's the range on detect magic?
30 feet, and it lasts for. It's a concentrated spell of up to 10 minutes. For the duration, I sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me. If I sense magic in this way, I can use an action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the aura that bears magic, and I learn its school of magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, or a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Doesn't say anything about plaque, though.
Okay. That comes up with no results as yet.
I'll
Brian,
wander around.
You now feel that you have just sort of the boop, 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 kind of detector looking for magic. Yeah.
I know how to have a good time on a beach in a whale.
Brian, you loosen up your vocal cords and find new ways of making space and sound in your esophagus. You can now speak or whatever the spell is. Be my guest.
So first I say, and that means
Replies the whale.
that means hello, my name is Brian. What ails you, and what do you need?
You wait, and then you hear a pain.
Is that it?
Get out.
Oh God.
So I'll reply, which means you were the one. You were the one that
No.
put us in your mouth, and also we can help if you help us.
Get hurt out.
What was that?
Are you asking the whale or the DM?
The DM. What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
It was get hurt out.
Okay.
Brian, what's it saying? What's it saying?
He's asking. Can I speak back to him? I don't know.
To me or to them?
To Sheik Sheen. I don't know if I can only. Okay.
Group.
So I'll say that I think he wants us to help him to get the whatever's ailing him to stop.
What is it? Is it a cavity? I mean, I'm an inventor. I'm not a very good dentist. I tried. It didn't go well.
I'm gonna start pushing against that big muscle wall, try and find like entrance somehow. Be like, obviously it's further in. Help me!
What are you pushing? What are you pushing against?
Will help me.
It's beautiful.
I'll have 3 hours of this.
Yeah.
Just 3 hours of this.
We will help. How long have you been hurting?
And so with that sentence, the tail that you're standing on dips for a moment and then sort of fluctuates back. The esophagus opens and you feel the ground beneath you sort of disappear, and you come flooding down, shark and all, down a sort of passageway, almost like a Goonie slide, if you remember the Goonies film, as you sort of slide down and go splashing into a new area of the whale as you move into the body itself. You immediately submerge in about 3-4 foot of water and then come back up again. As soon as you look up, you see the giant, it's almost like a cathedral of bones that make up its ribcage, make up its spine. This place is cavernous and it's vast. And then the next thing you see is standing above you, harpoon gun pointing at your face, darting from one to the next. A dwarven chap wrapped in a sort of armor or coating or clothing made of sort of skin and muscle. It's really firm. He moves his harpoon gun from one to the other of you, checks in your eyes, and then goes, "Nice to see you. I think you best come with me. Come on." And starts moving through the water away from you. Are you coming?
I follow. I've seen so much weird shit. I'm just gonna follow. No questions. I'm just following. Bag, are you coming?
I'll come.
Not like we can go anywhere else.
Is the shark yours?
Yeah.
We did that. We did
We
that.
did bring it with us, yes.
We did the butchering. I don't know who you are, but if you're interested in advanced battery techniques, we actually did that as well. Yes, we're very useful.
You did this. The killing or the cutting?
Both. You should be intimidated.
The killing you've done well, but the cutting is dreadful. But I'll show you. Oh.
He only has one arm, so you know.
Right. He reaches round to his back and he pulls out a fish hook on rope, and he slams the hook through into the shark's mouth, just getting round on its jaw, and then unravels the yarn of rope, and then pulling it over his shoulder, begins to drag with relative ease the shark through the water. Well, at least we've got some supper, eh?
Yes, we have.
Definitely. Will you take us to your camp? Where have
He's
you been?
He's already going. Oh, just
follow.
Welcome to my home. It's not much, but it's something. Yeah. And as he leads you through, you can see kind of a really odd sight. Is first of all, you can see a campfire that he's managed to sort of keep light and set alight on a piece of sort of floating debris. It's not quite raft-like. It's just like a giant planks of wood tied together. They're not moving either. They sort of seem sturdy in the 4 foot of water. As you begin to kind of open up to this space a little bit more, you'll see that actually he's set up a bit of a sort of home or base within this area.
I love that.
So here we go, little map. So I can never get the hang of it. So here, this area here, you got this is a little campfire. There's a series of just sort of other things. Here's the wood that I was talking about before that he's kind of locked down. There's bits of wreckage. There's a boat here, but it's kind of half a boat. So please don't be thinking you can sail out on that. It's purely there for decoration. He's also hooked up a scaffold, which at this point he's currently, where's my shark gone? He's currently sort of hoisting the shark from thin end up onto the scaffold so that he can strip it properly and get the meat. And then as you begin to look further beyond, it's hard to see because of there's very little light here, because obviously we're in the belly of a whale, but there are bits of torchlight that emanate through the space. He's set up a structure that starts on the first floor. There's bits of storage space, and then as it moves up, there are a series of rope ladders from bits of broken vessels and ships, and I would say the whole thing is about 3 stories high. This is my home, as best as you can have a home here.
Well, it's very impressive. It's very impressive, and it seems that you've had a lot of materials to build it out of. Do you pardon me? Do you often have guests? Do you often have new influxes of current supplies? You know,
of material. Well, everything that I have, the great whale provides. She brings me in bits of boat and ship, and I use it to live. The whale, I've decided she's a girl.
What do you mean you've decided? Have you spoken to her?
The whale?
Yeah.
No.
You should open up a dialogue. Maybe it'd make your living situation less anonymous. You know, a little bit more of give and take. Maybe you could help her. Maybe she has an ulcer on her liver, and you could perhaps help her with that, and then therefore create this sort of lovely symbiotic relationship. It could be quite nice. It could be positive.
You said ulcer. Is she sick?
Yes,
she's not well. She's not well. Tell him.
Well, we tried to heal her, but it didn't work.
We cast it at level 1 as well.
She's sick. That's good to know.
Why?
What she deserves.
To
Did
be
she-
sick.
Oh, did she swallow you in a bad way? You don't want
She
to
must.
be here.
You didn't want to be swallowed.
Don't think anyone
Mm.
wants to be swallowed.
Can I look? You look weary. You look tired. I mean, the two of you look almost dead. Why don't you pull up a barrel, sit down in front of the fire, get warm? I can knock you up some shark fin soup. It'll take me a while, and I'll have to undo some of the damage that you've done to the beauty here. It's a
Look,
big one.
before you knock anyone up, I just want to make it clear to you that you're just one big gulp away from being in a deep Olympic/swimming pool of lactic acid. So perhaps you should explain just, I don't know, I want to be diplomatic about this, a minuscule amount about why you were in this whale stomach. We've only just got here, so the novelty hasn't worn off. We've just been swallowed by a giant whale, and I'm still not really very calm about this situation. But you seem rather at home. You seem like you've been here a long time, and I'm not entirely at peace with it. Please tell me, how are you alive with a 3-story house?
Well, I mean, I'm not in the business of just telling folk anything that have just wandered into my home. But like you say, you've had a traumatic experience. It's not every day you get swallowed by a whale.
Your home is a giant whale. No one wandered in here. We were swallowed by a malicious, enormous, hungry whale. We didn't wander in here.
Well, it's actually happened to me before.
What?
It's happened to me before.
Maybe we should open a trust circle here and talk about this openly, empathetically. Go ahead, Brian, you share.
Well, it might have been a dream, actually.
Oh, God.
And what was your name? Sorry, man who lives in a 3-story mansion inside a whale.
I wouldn't call it a mansion. It's more of a ramshackle. But the name's Jebediah, and I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
Can I call you Jeb?
No.
Okay, Jebediah. Carry on.
And your name?
Whose name?
Yours.
You're looking at me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Sheik Sheen. Wondrous inventor of little bits and stuff.
An inventor, eh?
Yes.
And the rest of you?
Go on. Open shop, you know. I'm just on the road.
Well, I mean, I would love to share with you some of the things I've knocked up here. I mean, as you can see, maybe not an architect or maybe not an inventor, but an architect or an engineer, certainly. No, not anyone could pull this off. And the rest of you, come into the light so I can see you a bit more. And by this point, he's sort of beckoning you to sit round by the fire that he's got going. Sort of just, it's an odd sensation because you have to step out of the water onto a platform, and he's getting barrels and lifting them and placing them down around the fire so you can be warm.
I'm going to do that and just very moodily sit down and on whatever, like a barrel or what have you, and just be moody.
As soon as you move the flame or light of the flame, he is just, his eyes just focus on you intently. He's drawn to you. Well, what are you then?
A disgruntled passenger on this entire bloody voyage.
You're
Yes.
you're a talking cat.
I'm not a cat, sir.
He doesn't like that word.
Well, you, I know, I've seen plenty of you before, but I've not seen one of yours before. Lucy would love you.
Who's Lucy?
No one.
Okay. Well,
That's suspicious.
that's a weird answer. I'm a
Right,
tabaxi.
check.
Brian wants to make an insight check. Yeah. So
Yeah, I do.
roll.
Can I support him in his insight check by giving him a hard squint like this?
Yeah, roll insight with advantage, Brian.
I'm far too moody to
Natural
be supporting this.
20.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
My guy.
I'm always curious with insight. Like, I'm not going to start telling you secrets because there's no way that you would know them. Do you know what I mean? But from
Imagine
what
it. Go on. Sorry, I was going to say, I sort of imagine the insight. I find it very tricky as well, and I kind of imagine it to work a little bit like Lie to Me with Tim Roth.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you just spot something in the scenario that otherwise wouldn't have been spotted, micro expressions and the like.
Yeah, but when I spot like
a little something.
When I spot like DMs going,
Tricky.
and they're like talking for like 10 minutes, I'm like, how can you get that from like a look or a microtransaction? Yeah. So what you see within his eyes when he talks about Lucy, or when he mentions Lucy, or even when he becomes defensive, is a well of sadness, of grief, and of loss, kind of behind his eyes. That's what's seen.
When he talks about the whale, is it with resentment, or is he happy living here?
What do you think?
I think he's quite resentful.
I mean, your insight check was on the basis of Lucy, not the whale. You know, your fur is really quite lovely. I imagine it's quite lovely when it's been dried and isn't wet.
That's true. I do look a lot better than this normally.
I'll go and sit next to Pluck.
Yes, yeah. Lucy would be just astounded by you. Can I offer you a drink, or and you tell me your tale? What brings you inside a whale?
Well, I think that's probably the best thing to do. Yeah, I'm starving. Can I please have something?
Well, it will it'll take me a while to make use of the shark. I mean, I've probably got some whale soup that I can offer you, but I'm so sick of eating whale that I'd rather cook up the shark and eat some of that.
When you say whale soup, have you been taking meat from this whale?
Well, yes. I mean, how else do you think I'd be able to survive down here? I just scrape into the blubber, rip a bit off, and cook it.
That makes so much sense. I mean, come on, Brian. It's not as if the food comes flying in this mouth all the time. This man's practically a genius.
Occasionally, you know, the whale does provide me with something else. You know, like today, she's brought me you lot. And you've brought me a shark, and we will eat the shark.
Can I just interrupt here? First of all, did you say Lucy would like us? Did you?
Lucy particularly would like the furry
so
one.
Lucy, just to clarify, I need some clarification because I'm not entirely sure you're not a cannibal right now.
Lucy?
Yeah. Well, you specifically, but I would like to know who Lucy is to garner an insight on your personality, because you seem dangerous to me. And I have a gun.
The man has been inside of a whale for God knows how long.
We've all been inside of a whale. We're all inside of a whale.
Calm down. He's offered to give us food and rest and shelter. Everyone just shut up.
Food other people?
And let him. He's obviously carving the shark. Sheen, calm down.
I am irate. I am hysterical. I need to take a moment and breathe, but I need these questions answered. So what was your name, and who is Lucy, and why do you intend to eat the shark and then us?
I don't eat people. You can rest assured. Well, yeah, sure, Gareth. It nice if the character could breathe for a second rather than just being like, you know, I know what's happening here. You need a long rest. You're out of spell slots and you're terrified. I get it. But this is just a guy.
I got my gun. Out in no spell slots. I might be on 2 HP, but
that's 21 on insight for if he's a
yeah, look, It doesn't eat people. And you've been watching him this whole time and being quite quiet. He's made it quite clear that he just scrapes some blubber or meat off the whale and then eats that. He's, and when he's not doing that, he just eats whatever the whale brings, which in this case is a shark. Now, you've been incredibly hostile to me, and I've welcomed you here with generosity as fellow survivors.
Jebediah, please, just my friend, he's very upset. This is very, very new for him.
It is.
And we are extremely grateful.
We are.
It might be me. I've not spoken to another person in such a long time, so forgive me if I'm coming across
social interaction is something that needs to be practiced. You are right. It is a muscle. Yes. Sorry.
But you are a gracious host.
I don't know about anyone else, but Handbag needs to sit down.
Jebediah,
Jebediah,
just as some reparations, would you like to stroke our cat person? You seemed very interested before. If you like to stroke the cat person as reparations, that would be okay with me.
Excuse me?
Remember the rules about personal space.
I stand up and I go over
I've
to
seen you
Sheik
lick
Sheen.
someone's jaw.
I'm going over to Sheik Sheen and I'm going to poke him in the chest. You, sir, have been incredibly rude this entire time. How dare you insinuate that is okay? And then I'm going to walk away from him and sit away from him, like really moodily.
Please don't fall out over me. I mean, I would very much like to stroke your fur, but I have not touched anything soft with these callousy hands in such a long time. But if that would not be okay, that's quite all right.
Maybe once I'm dry.
So
come nearer by the fire. Come by the fire.
A bit of oil in there.
I go and sit by the fire then.
In the meantime, Handbag wants to sit down and have a rest. Ever the mechanical game player, Ben will be after his long rest as quickly as he possibly can.
It was about being nearly dead.
Yes, I'm actually quite exhausted. Sorry, I've been running on adrenaline for some time. I wouldn't mind a little sit down.
Sheik Sheen, your detect magic is still up, right?
It lasts for 10 minutes, if I remember correctly.
So you get the faint traces of a small magical item kind of coming from a series of crates that are currently on the sort of table that the guy has fashioned, just a couple of feet away from the fire. Maybe 10 feet away.
Can I throw an eye towards the table, see if I can sort of distinguish whatever the items are before I engage Jeb?
Yeah, you can make an investigation check with disadvantage because they are in a crate.
Fair enough. Okay, we have 9 or 17. So 9.
You can see loose bits of paper that he somehow manages to keep dry.
Okay, I would like to turn to Pluck, and I'd say, look, you know, it's a very difficult situation. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just trying to sort of build bridges between us and this whale inhabitant. But there is something I would like to say. First of all, do you accept my apology? I am very sorry.
Fine.
You don't have to. It doesn't sound like you mean it. Don't harbor any resentment for me. We're in the belly of the whale right now. You and I, them, and him.
I've just had a ridiculously bad day, and this voyage was meant to be my glorious story, and now I'm inside a fucking whale with Bag, who no longer appreciates me.
He's not
Brian, who I'm pretty sure is the whole reason this happened, and then
I'm
you.
quite sure too.
And I have no idea what the hell.
They all got a description. I didn't get a description.
What do you want, Sheik Sheen?
Well, I'm really glad you asked, actually, because there is something. I am sort of magically aware, arcanely able, if you will. There's something in one of those crates over there. It is a magical item. And
I would like to remind you that I am just like 2 feet away from you.
Thank you for reminding me, Jeb.
You,
Are you doing the shark stakes?
I am doing the shark stakes, but you seem you come into my home and now I think you're going to rob me.
Sheik Sheen is just very, very inquisitive, and he's got a very magical sense as well. He can
I'm an
pick up on magical
inventor.
traces. He's very curious just about some of the fascinating things that you have here. That's all.
I'd love
Well,
to
look,
learn more about your home. It's
I will-
fascinating. You built an
Yes, I'm
entire
sure
three-story
you-
home in the body of a whale. Who does that? That's incredible. You should write a book. Can you write?
Make persuasion with disadvantage.
Sorry, I'll stop. 9 or natural 1.
Listen, you, and listen good. His hand is the fish hook that he was using to carve at the shark is now it's still in his hand as he moves towards you. I'm not happy about this situation, so here's what's gonna go. I will give you some food and some rest, and then you will leave my home as soon as possible.
That's very fair. That's very fair. Would you? Thank you. Which way? Which way should we go?
Not my problem.
Okay, well, thank you, Sheik Sheen. I think it's time we get a bit of sleep now. So you go sleep, and
yes,
we'll all just relax.
Are you actually going to try and pull off a long rest?
Well,
when your last long rest was literally 30 minutes ago, maybe even 40. Are you actually
maybe a short rest?
I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing now.
Well, just to recap in terms of time frame, we fell from the airship, we crashed into the ocean, we managed to get a long rest, we woke up, we did battles with sharks, we got swallowed by a whale, we're now here. It's been like an hour. I know from a mechanical aspect you want that long rest, but sleep ain't going to come for Sheik Sheen.
Just go sit in the bloody corner, Sheik Sheen. Just go.
What he's doing now is he's stripping the shark, but he's positioned himself so that he is on the back end of it, so he can, as he's stripping and cutting, he can look at you and see what you're doing, and it's sort of.
Whale-dwelling one.
I've told you my name.
Handbag is good with names.
Yeah.
Just call him Jeb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.
Ja.
Yeah.
Jeb.
I would.
Jebediah.
Jebediah. Could Handbag please assist you with dissecting this creature?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, that's going to fail horribly. 14.
If you know how to handle yourself, by all means, but you're not to touch any of my tools. I suggest the tall one with the pointy ears. He's not welcome to rest in my camp, but you're more than welcome to go look for salvage at the bottom of the whale. That will perhaps help you get out. You might be able to fashion a boat or a raft if you're such a good inventor with your nice cheekbones. That was me just looking at Jamie's cheekbones, really. That wasn't really good. Look at that jawline.
Handbag is grateful. Handbag does not want to die in the body of a whale.
I think that's a great idea. And I think,
oh my God, I've forgotten something. Most of you, other than Sheik Sheen, have 1 point of exhaustion because you haven't eaten or slept or done anything. So you should all be rolling at disadvantage on ability checks.
Okay.
Oh, that's so mean. I forget exhaustion.
So why doesn't Brian, Sheik Sheen, and me all go down and salvage some things? Hopefully, by the time we're back, Jebediah will have made some lovely soup with Handbag's help. How about that, guys? Shall we all leave together? Yeah?
Yes, we should. Is there anything Lucy would like whilst we're out at the shops? Where is Lucy?
Too much. Too much.
Is that too much?
Too much. We're gonna go now. Brian, you coming
See.
with?
God rest his soul, is dead, like the rest of my crew, destroyed by this evil beast that we find ourselves in.
It's not
All
evil.
right.
Brian, I think we should go now. Yeah?
Perhaps we can have an emotionally open and insightful conversation about the boundaries that are keeping you apart from your symbiotic host. Maybe there is something here that we can heal. The whale is in pain, and you are subject to the whale's fate. Perhaps there is a conversation somewhere in here, but it could just be democratic.
That's a great idea.
It could lead to a mutually beneficial leaving of the whale. You could leave with us. I do not intend to die here.
I am not leaving here. I'll leave here when the beast is dead.
As poop?
If it has to be, I don't give a damn.
You do understand we're in the middle of nowhere, miles away from any island, and should the whale decide to regurgitate you, you will drown. You do need this whale to survive right now. You know that, don't you?
She's tried to get me out, and I'm still here.
Like a kidney stone. I see. Yeah.
I have no desire to join the outside world. I will chip away at this beast like it has chipped away at me, and when it's dead, I'll rest too.
You're suicidal then. Right, what were you saying, Pluck?
Yep, that's a great story. Me and Brian and Sheiksheen are all going to go and salvage some things to help us get out of here. Handbag.
No.
No.
The orc stays. I'm not being left alone with no lizard folk.
Oh.
I'm not very good at looking for things either, Block, so I don't think there's any.
Great. That's fine, Brian. Thanks for your
help.
I
don't mind staying with Jebediah. I find him actually, challenging but enlightening, growing.
I'm going to grab Sheiksheen's hand and say, "No, we're going now. Bye, everybody." And we're going to walk towards somewhere that is there anywhere secluded from Jebediah's vision, sort of towards where he mentioned.
Oh.
I thought he was holding that pose for a significant amount of time. I thought he was
dramatic pause. I think we've lost him.
This is definitely one of the more dramatic pauses. Oh, brilliant!
How do I? Can I?
Oh my God! Look at the severity of the pose as well. Look at
I feel like we sort of all have imitated the pose.
All right. Fortunately, we are now narratorless, and that means here's what happens. We all shoot a shot up into the whale's brain. It floats towards the surface in the buoyancy of the oxygenated blood that it has after a good deep breath. We're all on the surface. We carve a raft out of the fat from the blubber, because fat floats. We attach it to all the pieces of wood that's in this guy's hideout. We create a sail somehow he has materials down there, and we just sail away. And then we eat this Jebediah, who would have eaten us on the journey home. And we end the campaign there. We end up on a similar thing to Madagascar, build a hut, everything's happy, DM never comes back. I don't need management! And Mike sees all of this in post.
Yeah.
Luke's relationship with everyone is very difficult today. No one's getting his signals in any way, shape, or form.
Is everyone's signal bad? I can only see Mike's being bad. The rest of you guys are coming through quite good to me.
No, yeah, I think it's just Mike's internet at the minute. I am going to use this opportunity to get a drink.
Do so.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will view this as a unfortunate interruption, and hopefully your regularly scheduled programming will be back soon.
Fortunately, Ben will provide elevator music in the interim and for the duration.
In the form
I will now engage my mute, and you'll be left solely with Ben's vocals, stylings of the elevator.
Dance with me, make me sway. Like the ocean hugs the shore.
On a side note, for when I planned on using this when I was DMing, I got a really fancy light ball. Watch.
You hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can.
but you'll need to change your name again. We'll have to blur that out.
Oh no.
Well, and
That's
probably just edit all of that. Do you want to just end the recording and then start a new recording? Do you want to end the recording and then start a new recording and then just edit out that?
Yeah.